going on? TDX here for episode 2 of the Rebirth. I am Trey,
I'm Derek.
and we are the hosts here. What's going on, man?
Not too much, other than a crapload going down in the NFL.
What'd you
I,
say? I
I
didn't hear you.
I see that. Like I was trying to tell you before, man. Y'all out there collecting dudes like Diddy, so let's just keep it moving.
First order of business that we're gonna discuss, man, is I guess we're gonna do a little different. I mean, it would make more sense to talk about who the team signed, but we'll talk about that second. But we're gonna look into the salary caps of the what the teams have left.
Yes, a lot of. It's been fast and furious as far as that salary cap space coming up.
Yeah, so this is over the cap. So they got pretty good up to date numbers. They're not all accurate because, as you can see, it says that we have 39. I'm not sure if we have 39 because L'Jarius Sneed is not showing on our books just yet. But I know we still got quite a bit of cap. I think actually that might be right, but like I said, we'll see.
Yeah, for y'all still to have the third most cap space rolling into the later part of this and not even into the draft just yet. That's going to be super helpful going forward. If y'all need to clean anything up, as we all know, the OTA and training camp injuries do happen, unfortunately. Knock on wood. I want the Titans at their best when we beat them this year.
Speaking of which, man, like I was talking to you earlier, man, Vegas has us at 5 point. I mean, at 5 wins. That's what they have us at. It's 5.5. So basically,
Absolutely,
they're saying 5 wins.
absolutely ridiculous. Y'all got the Eagles Super Bowl run easy level schedule going through there. Like, if y'all only get 5 wins, y'all need to fold up shop. I'm telling you.
Only way we get 5 wins is, man, if somebody gets hurt. That's the only way I see
Yeah,
5 wins because
yeah.
just the moves that we made says that we're trying to win right now.
Yeah, and y'all don't have Ryan Tannehill. And I'm not saying Ryan Tannehill was necessarily bad for y'all, but it was definitely time for him to get a new change of scenery, just for his own sake, man, because he was starting to become stagnant. He started to look like the Miami Ryan Tannehill. And sometimes, man, change of scenery ain't always the bad thing for everybody. So, sometimes it's just run its course.
But that change of scenery hasn't been found yet because he's still a free agent. So
This
I don't
is
know. There's
very
not a whole lot of jobs left out there.
He did catch that injury though and he was dealing with that injury most of the season, so that might have helped him as far as recovering overall, but I think it hurt him as far as putting that bad game film out there.
We'll see what happens. I think he'll be a late addition to somebody that maybe loses their starter or loses a backup or something like that in practice, something like that. But I just don't see him getting signed this late now.
Look,
Then
man,
again, we did just see Davion Clowney just got signed. So
yeah, but I will say this, man, if Baker Mayfield has a job, Ryan Tannehill can get a job. Just saying.
Baker's way younger. Baker's not 35 years old, coming off of a serious ankle injury.
This is also very true. And again, I will say I have to give the man props. Baker did do one hell of a good season last year. He is coming off his best season ever. And I look forward to seeing what he does this year, not as a hater, just as a general overall. Show me what you got, man.
Okay, we'll see what he does.
I mean,
Man, looking at these,
he got that brand new contract out of Tampa Bay. So I still think it's a
that's a
little bit
safe
of an
contract. It's safe. It's
still
safe.
still think it was a little bit of an overpayment, but like I said, man, he played his way into being able to ask for that type of money. He did it. I just haven't seen it on a consistent enough level for him to get that money. But hey, he's got a hell of an agent. He made a hell of a case last year. Let's go on and see if he's worth it.
Yep, I'm ready for the draft to happen for this next season to see a
What
lot of these
happens?
movements, how it's going to work out.
Oh yeah, because I mean you got Mike Evans still staying there, so that helps out his case quite a bit too. Um, but you know, speaking of people leaving that should have stayed, Calvin Ridley bailing on the dang Jaguars to hop into a division rival.
Well, he wanted to stay there. He had made it publicly. I think a day before we signed him, he had put out that he wanted to stay with the Jags. And the crazy thing about it is, he definitely didn't go for the money. Now, the money we gave him helped, but the rumor was in the rumor mill, it was that the Patriots actually made a higher offer to get him to come to the Patriots. He didn't choose the Patriots; he chose us.
Really?
Yeah, that was the rumor mill that the Patriots had made a bigger. They pushed hard to get Ridley.
But the thing is, though, with Ridley, I think he also really subscribes to that old mantra of not all money is good money, because going to New England would have been difficult. You've got no quarterback there. You've got extremely high expectations, and we just got to, just that uncertainty right there. I wouldn't have taken the money either, to be honest with you, especially being Calvin Ridley and trying to bounce back after it was 1,000-yard season, but he didn't look his best.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because he wasn't getting targets, and Christian Kirk was trying to. Remember, they still had Evan
Yeah.
Ingram, so I don't know. Maybe that. I mean, coming to us, I mean, we still got D Hop on the other side, but it's gonna make it a lot easier for him because teams are gonna have to figure out who they want to game plan against because
Because
both of them are great route runners.
and you know what they both are? They're both X level receivers.
Oh, here we go with this again.
Hey, I'm
They're
just
both
saying.
true ones, huh? They're both true ones.
No, this they're at look. Number one is the who the bet your best receiver is on your team. That's the title of wide receiver one. To my definition, to be an X to just because you're an X receiver or a Y receiver doesn't mean you're lesser than. It's just where your skill set is best
What's your
used at.
yeah? I got you. We don't
And
neither one of them, but Ridley does for. They want him to be the Y, and he's. I don't know at this age. He says he feels like he's 25, 26. In
I
real world years, he's 30. So
I believe it. And I'm going to take his word for it because he did have a year off of football. Remember that. But at
he
the
had
same
2 years,
time,
almost 2 years off of football.
yeah. But if you look at it, though, I mean, his game is outside the numbers. But if you look at how he played in Alabama with that offseason, especially with Amari Cooper, he does extremely well in a double X wide receiver and a wide receiver type offense, like what you have going into Tennessee. He's going to have D Hop on one side, and he's going to be on the other side. And it's going to be, who do you want to get beat by deep? Who do you want to fuck around and get beat by deep?
The crazy thing about it is that D Hop in the game when Will Levis started, he had two of his catches with deep passes.
That,
So
that,
that's
that,
strange that D Hop he don't have the speed no more, but he still has the ability to get high point.
Well, and that's because he still has the ability to get high point, but he has his technique as a route runner to sit there to create that separation. Where he may have lost a step in speed, he figured out how to counter that going forward. And that's one thing that I feel he learned from Andre Johnson when he was with the Texans in the very beginning, because Andre was in the same position when he started to come on. Andre was losing a step, but he found a way to counter it until we sat there and saw, like, hey, man, your counter's not working too much anymore. D Hop, I feel, has got a little bit of a reprieve getting Calvin Ridley to come back over because now, like I said, you got two deadly outside the numbers type receivers that you got to worry about now. So y'all are sitting in a pretty damn good spot as long as you guys got your dudes up underneath that can come up and eat as well too, because there's going to be plenty for that wide receiver room to eat. Because if Will Levis builds off of what he was doing from that first game, if that first game is what he was showing what he can do on a consistent basis going into his second year, y'all are going to be a problem.
The
Derek is
issue
going
is
to be
this:
Derek
you
who,
know who that puts in the slot, then, right? On paper, man, we look great. That puts Traylon Burke in the slot,
and I
and
feel
and he's a big dude too.
I feel he's going to be better suited for that because yes, he is a bigger dude, but at the NFL level, he didn't look too hot playing on the outside, playing outside the numbers. I'm not saying he can't, and I understand that was what his rookie season this last year,
No, this past year was his second season.
second season. So
Yeah,
I
he's been
mean,
riddled with injury though. He hasn't been able to stay healthy.
th- uh, and this might be able to help because, like I said, you're going to have two guys on the outside demanding attention. So he might be able to sit there and find his groove going through there, playing that wide receiver, playing the Z receiver. And again, that's no knock to his skill. I'm not saying he's trash or nothing. I'm just saying we
Well, he
might be
played
able to
he
get him.
played a lot in the slot in college, so maybe that may be more comfortable for him to get him up to speed and maybe not get him so injured. Also, that puts you up against a slot corner, which are typically fat, shorter, but they're I'm not saying that slot corners can't cover, but
Right.
with all the attention being on the outside, that might allow him to eat in the middle.
Right. And if he's a little bit bigger type receiver, that's going to be even easier to help him out against your prototypical slot corners.
Yeah, his measurements are very close to AJ Brown's. That's why
Yeah.
when he was coming out of college, he was getting AJ Brown comparisons. Is he
Right.
AJ Brown? No, he's not. But still, that's who they were comparing him to.
Yeah. And then another big team that was going through there doing a lot of moves. I know I'm jumping around quite a bit, but that had to have been the Atlanta Falcons signing Kirk Cousins to that massive contract.
That was them saying that, and I mean, thinking it from an Atlanta fan. I've seen mixed, feelings from Atlanta fans, but this is them saying that we're a quarterback short. That's why we're going to pay Kirk what we need to pay because we got Bijan, we got Drake, we got Pitts, we have all this talent, and then they signed who they signed. They signed from the Steelers. Uh,
Oh,
Mooney. They signed
Mooney.
Darnell
Yeah.
Mooney.
Yep.
So they're going in. They're saying
No.
that, hey, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, and I
Yep.
think he has the tools that can win you a Super Bowl. Again, like I said for Sam Howell, I was talking about his body of work, what he could do.
Yeah.
Kirk has showed that he can win. Now you've given him all these weapons to include a strong run game, because let's not forget about Tyler Algier that's
Yeah.
still there. So this was Atlanta saying all we need is a solid quarterback, get some good quarterback play, and we should be in the playoffs year one.
They took Darnell Mooney came from Chicago, came to them by way of Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago. I'm sorry, I did say
They
Steelers.
picked up Van Jefferson from the Steelers. No. Van Jefferson
That's
went to the
He was
Steelers.
a
Sorry, he
free
went
agent.
to the Steelers. He went
Yeah,
to the Steelers. My bad. They picked up Ray McLeod, who used to be on the Steelers. He's come to Atlanta, and then Jonnu Smith left, and Charlie Werner, tight end, came over from San Francisco.
yeah. It's all about those big names that I was talking about earlier: Drake London,
Oh yeah,
Darnell Mooney,
that's
Kyle
gonna
Pitts. He really needs this so bad. He needs this season to be great.
yes,
Kyle Pitts needs to have at least 800 yards receiving. I'm not saying he's got to get to 1,000, but he's got to
no,
have at least 800, and then he's got to have double-digit touchdowns. You are
yes,
6'5". You are a mismatch to every linebacker that decides they want to cover you. High pointed, get up there and do what you were doing in college, and show the NFL why you were the highest drafted tight end of all time.
yeah, yeah. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Now, who? Yeah, I think there's going to be one tight end and it's just the way the draft has fallen this year is the only reason why he's not going to be drafted higher than what Kyle Pitts was. But we all
Mr.
know,
Bowers.
yeah, that dude is a beast.
We're gonna
I'm
have fun placing
being
him later on.
being an Alabama fan and just watching the way he just destroyed everybody, just outright disrespect. He was a grown man playing amongst children since he was a freshman. I'm interested to see what his NFL career looks like. Although I did see
It
that
depends
picture
on
of
where
him.
he lands.
Yeah, I did see him standing next to Gronk, and he looked like somebody's dad.
Yeah, it depends on where he lands, man. When you're a pass catcher, I mean, it doesn't always matter where you land because greatness is greatness, but it's gonna for a tight end, it's gotta matter where you land.
Oh yeah. And then jumping to my lovely team, Houston Texans, seeing where we did quite well in free agency as well too. We picked up Hunter coming out of Minnesota. That was a
I liked
massive
it that
pickup
one.
for us. That was a massive pickup for us. And then we took let's see, Al Shazier from you
Yeah,
guys.
I'll shot. Yeah, y'all stole it, and y'all took Danico Autry. I know everybody. See, people don't know who Danico Autry is. They see how old he is, and it's like, oh yeah, man, that dude old. Dude had double-digit sacks last season.
Yeah. And then you're going to talk about he's there to try and replace Grenard that left to work opposite of who I look like a terrible Houston fan right now. I got so many damn names running through my head.
Hunter,
No,
Will
big boy,
Anderson.
Will Anderson Jr. But that's going to be
But
interesting
y'all
to see.
don't. But Nico Collins, he's gonna be. I mean, not gonna Nico Collins. The Nico Autry, he's gonna
Yeah,
be in the middle. He's gonna be one
yeah.
of your DTs because he's a bigger, stronger guy. He's not
I mean,
fast.
he's registered as a defensive end, but yeah, I believe
Nah,
we'll play him more in the middle. Um, I can't believe we let Devin Singletary walk. However, us turning around and going to get Joe Mixon. surprised the hell out of me.
And y'all got him
And
for pennies.
but we signed him to an extension.
Yeah, it's a good extension. The,
It wasn't terrible.
my boss is a Texans fan too, and he hated the pickup. I was like, dude, Mixon is nice.
No, Mixon is good. Mixon is good, and he was the odd man out in that giant money circle with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, they brought Zach Moss in for cheaper.
Yes, and that's what they needed to do. And I'm not mad at him, but I hate it.
Yeah, but
I
to
hate
get a guy for a seventh round pick, I mean, y'all dictated it. Y'all had all the leverage. They were going to
all the
cut him.
leverage.
It was out that
Yeah.
he was going to get cut. So you give him a call. Hey, don't cut him. We'll send you a seven. Oh well, hey,
We get
something's
something.
better than nothing.
Something's better than nothing. At the same time, we're still working off of his old contract. That extension doesn't kick in until next season, so that helps us out with the cap room right now, rather than trying to absorb all of that by picking him up.
And that
So,
works out for him too. Now he doesn't have to fight, have to go out and try to renegotiate. And
hmm
it, he landed in a good spot. He really
look,
did.
we're doing a lot better by players than what we have been in the past, and that's one thing that I do like to see at that, because I'm pretty sure if we had old man McNair running the game, he would have just let that 1 year run out, especially with how all these owners are treating running backs right now, and then try to discount them at cheaper. So,
Yeah, I mean, for them to say that the running back position was dying, and all these running backs found new homes and they got pretty good deals.
and I think they found a little bit better system, so they're going to utilize them a little bit better what than what they were in the past, from where they were at. Now, Josh
Yeah,
Jacobs going to dang Green Bay, that was a mistake.
and then they re-signed AJ Dillon too.
Yeah, and then they got rid of what's his name,
Aaron Jones,
Aaron Jones, but then he turned
and
around and
he
went to
immediately
Minnesota.
found a home to Minnesota. Yep, he wasn't available very long.
No, and then let's see, who else did we pick up that I saw? We picked up what's his name, the punter Tommy Townsend from Kansas City. He's a punter, but he wasn't a bad punter either. Matt Araiza, hey man, I'm glad to see you finally get your shot in the NFL after all that BS that you went through. I'm glad you
He
got
put
your shot.
himself through that. He put himself through that.
I mean I get it, but I mean when you got folks lying on you left and right, I hope it goes to show that these college athletes need to pay attention to a little bit better of where they find themselves at. Pick better
Absolutely,
locations to be at, because you got to remember you are a target out there. You are nothing but a
absolutely,
dollar sign to these people. You are nothing but a dollar sign out there
absolutely.
running around like a damn private in a military town. First thing they go, next thing you know, what is their name? Lily from the dance club is their new wife all of a sudden. She knows the bass better than him. Oh man.
So,
And then who else did we pick up that was like really big? There really wasn't. I mean, there really wasn't too much that we really picked up out there as far as like big names that just pop out at me. Like I saw that we re-signed Noah Brown, nice little 1 year contract. Kind of see what he's got going for us. He was good for like 2 games and then got hurt. Um, we
when Gallo
still
was
need a
dealing with
receiver.
injuries, he came in and filled in real nice.
No, he did, and I'm not mad that we kept him. I'm just saying we still need to find another receiver to have another triple threat going on. But I really think we kind of need to start looking at that tight end position a little bit better as well too going forward. So we'll see.
Y'all
We'll
re-signed
see.
Dalton Schultz.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we did, but we really don't need any
Y'all
much
gave him a
better.
3-year deal. Y'all ain't going
We
to get
gave
a
him
tight
three
end right
real.
now.
No, no, we did, and I did forget about that. Damn, I'm a terrible Texans fan right now. No, we did pull in. It's because I'm not seeing him on this board right here of the free agent signings. I forgot that we locked back up.
That happened a while ago. Yeah,
We locked up Dalton Schultz again. That's why we got to do this show more often. And I know that's on me, but that's not the point right now. But
yeah. But this
us get
offseason has been stolen by my team, though. So
yeah. This is true. I have been watching y'all quite a little bit more, because I've got to keep an eye on the
from the
other side of the
coaching
fence going on.
signings to the free agents we signed to the trade that we just pulled off, like
Yeah, I still think y'all overpaid for Snead, man. I really do. He's had a history of
it's
knee
fine.
problems, no postseason accolades, and then
He
he's
missed no games.
mm,
Knee
I don't
problems, but
know.
he didn't miss a game last season.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
He
We'll
only
see.
missed a
But
few practices though. That was
and
it.
and he came up really, really big when they needed him most in that secondary. So uh, I'm glad he got his money. I'm glad he got his money. I'm glad he was able to do it. His talent speaks for it. I'm just saying, if I was Tennessee, I would have played a little bit more hardball. There's
We had Christian Fulton and Sean Murphy Burton last year with Roger McCreary in the slot.
well, y'all
We
needed help at
had one of
cornerback
the
bad.
worst. We had one of the worst cornerback rooms in the NFL last season. We now have Roger McCreary still in the slot, L'Jarius Sneed, and Cheeto Awuzie. So I think we're doing. Here's a funny part
Yeah, you
that
did steal
everyone's.
Uze from Cincy.
Yeah, here's the funny part, and this is the part that I love talking to people that don't know the Titans. So when you say that, when you see this cornerback room, and you go, okay, L'Jarius Sneed is clearly our top cornerback. Then they go, oh, Cheeto Awuzie is he's going to be the other boundary guy. But the thing is, he's not the second best corner on our team. Roger McCreary is. Roger McCreary had a better pass coverage rating than Cheeto Bay did last season. And that's
Yeah,
not a knock on him. That's not a knock on him. He was really good last season. But
yeah,
Roger McCreary, he's a beast in that slot.
yeah. That's what
So
she
we
said.
went from having one of the work. We went from having one of the worst cornerback rooms to having on paper, it's still on paper. We got to see it, make it work. Having one of the better cornerback rooms. Not to mention, Denard Wilson is our DC, and he's a cornerback guy. So he's going
Yeah,
to get the best out of these guys.
and that's what
Now we just need Justin Simmons to sign, and we got a complete set.
we will see how that works because that is one thing that I was pointing out in earlier talks when you were talking about your Titans. I was like, it's getting a lot of feelings like that. What was it, 2010, 2011? Was it 2009, 2010? Philadelphia Eagles that Vince Young so
Okay, it
famously
wasn't
dubbed
that
the
big
Dream
though. It
Team.
wasn't that big though. No, it wasn't that big. Those were Pro Bowlers. Like all you had Asante Samuel, Nnamdi Asomugha, Dominique Rogers Camardi. See, these names ain't that big. That's why this is gonna work.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how that coaching does because he's coming in there being a first time DC. So we'll see how it works out.
We'll
So
be fine, man. We'll be
I
fine. More than 5 wins, fine. I know that.
I agree with that. Like I said, I want y'all at y'all's best because like I've always said before, and I've been called many of things because of the way that I feel, how I feel about this. When I play my opponent, I would rather be a triple overtime victory than a complete
Triple
blowout.
overtime in the regular season, huh? No,
Yeah.
that's
No,
then we're into a tie.
I'd rather, well, you know what I'm talking about though. Like,
We'll end in a
I'd
tie
rather
after
have,
the first overtime.
I'd rather have that nail biter overtime squeaking by you win than I would a complete blowout. Because when I walk out of there, I want you to know that your best was still not good enough to beat me because I
I'd
won't
rather
walk
get
out of there
blown
with just
out
as
than to
belt.
lose in an overtime game.
Well, I mean, go ask the 49ers and Josh Allen how that works out too well, right? Speaking of your boy Josh Allen, you want to talk about somebody who has been defamed across the board on both offense and defense. That is the Buffalo Bills, and I'm surprised nobody's talking about it as much.
They had to get under the salary cap. They just gutted everything. Von Miller reworked his contract. They cut Tre'Davious White. I understood that though, because he hasn't played. And they let Gabe walk. We saw that coming.
Hmm.
So this team is way different this season than this upcoming season. So
They are going
I
to
don't
be.
know. And
They
that
gave
division
Mitch.
is just getting tougher.
They gave Mitch Trubisky. What is it? 2 years for five and a quarter.
But that's Mitch going back because remember Mitch spent a season behind Josh.
No, I agree. I agree. I know it. But I'm looking at a lot of these players and it's just gone, 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 gone.
Yeah, they had a lot of turnover.
Big turnover.
This draft is gonna have to do them some real good justice. Not to mention that there's rumors that you've heard too that Diggs wants out. He's been wanting out for like the last 3 years. They're eventually going to let him out.
Oh yeah, they're gonna let him out, and then let's not forget our other favorite AFC darling that has taken a huge hit in free agency, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. They've lost a couple of names that not everybody realizes play for them. Like y'all stole a Woozy out of there. That was a huge defensive
Hmm.
loss out of there. You
Yeah,
know,
but they got
they
some
let
youngins behind them.
they do, but I mean, they just lost their big right tackle, Jonah Williams, up out of there.
Hmm.
DJ Reader, he was big for Houston. Went up there to Cincinnati, did big things. He's up out of there. You know, let's
They
see.
lost Tyler Boyd. He hasn't signed, but he's not there yet.
He's not gonna. They lost. See, and here's an interesting. And this is also this will be a perfect segue to go in here. I'll save him for last. But I mean, they lost Nick Scott. They lost. They pulled in Mike Gesicki because that was another loss they had. But I mean, like we'll see how they go with some of these additions. They're not as hurt as bad as the Buffalo Bills are. But one player that I'm surprised that they didn't use as much when they signed him, but they let him walk, is Irv Smith Jr.
Yeah, you didn't hear him do much there. Like,
You
yeah,
didn't hear
I
him do
don't
much.
do much at all.
He's to me, he's a little bit of an underserved tight end because even though he played behind OJ Howard at Alabama, he was still a hell of a tight end out there playing,
He was
and
fine when he was with Minnesota.
he was fine when he was with Minnesota. But guess where he wound up at?
Who got him now? Atlanta?
Nope, better.
I don't know. I wasn't tracking there, Smith.
Kansas City picked him up.
Ooh, they use the
So
tight ends
Noah
there.
Gray. So if I'm Noah Gray or Blake Bell, I'm up out of there. I'll be worried right now. Training camp is going to be huge when they go to have to start making roster cuts. That's going to
And
be
then
one room
they
to
got Hollywood
watch.
too for the low too.
Mhm. Hollywood even talked about doing him taking less money in order to go with Kansas City. Kansas City got a big deal. Again, this is no knock, and I know it's going to sound like one. This is no knock, but Hollywood Brown is like a great value uh, CD Lamb.
Their games are different. I don't like that comparison at all.
Mm.
Their
They
games are
play.
way different.
They were
Hollywood is a
utilizing.
field stretcher. To me, he's going to be
What
Hollywood
do you
is going to
think,
be a
Dallas?
better Nicole Hardeman.
What do you think, Dallas? Oh, of course, anybody that can catch is going to be a better McCole Hardman. But what do you
Well,
think
this is
Dallas
wheels
tries
that
to
can
do with?
catch.
What do you think Dallas tries to do with CD? The
No, I
same
don't like
thing
that
Arizona
comparison at
tried to
all.
do with it. The same thing Oklahoma
Holly,
did with them.
CD can go high point. He can go do that. Hollywood's not high point nothing. He's got to catch it underneath, and or you can use him like a gadget. You can do a screen. He can take it to the house because of his speed. But he's speed. That's what his game is.
Hollywood is CD Lamb without being able to play outside the numbers. And
And
CD
no route running like CD. He can't route run like CD.
and that's how CD is able to play outside the numbers is route running because he can't burn everybody like he did in high school, like he did in
But
college.
I feel like if we went down with CD and said everything CD is great at, Hollywood is not going to be great at. And then
Holly,
everything that
but,
Hollywood is good at, CD is not good at.
but what I'm getting at is when I say great value, I mean the little words great value, not the brand great value. Whatever you put CD Lamb at, Hollywood is going to be right behind him, and whatever you have Hollywood at, CD is going to be right behind him. I do think those are two players. You'll have a step back and you'll have adjusted your game a little bit, but you can rotate them in and out depending on what you want to do as far as playing from that wide receiver position with
I
how you
think
look at it.
Hollywood is more. I think he's more Brandon Cooks than he is CD Lamb.
I can give you that one absolutely. I think if you put CD and Hollywood on the same team, that would be a deadly ass receiver room that you got in there. You just add in somebody who's a you just add in a bigger body receiver, you know, that can play outside the numbers more consistently, and it's going to be ugly playing in there. You put D Hop, CD Lamb, and Hollywood Brown all on the same team. You have D Hop playing the X, CD playing the Y, Hollywood playing the Z. It's over. That's a
Yeah,
track
you
meet
check
right
all the
there.
boxes. You
And
check
put
all the
and put
boxes on that one.
and then you put C.J. Stroud in that quarterback room to lead that out there. You win in a Super Bowl.
Then you got Hollywood. He went and signed with the Chiefs for two reasons. One, he wanted to try to get a ring, and he wants to cash in. He wants to pull a juju. He wants to cash in after the Super Bowl win.
Mm. But if I'm Hollywood, I would be smarter and stay another year. I would rather eat another bad contract
It's
or
too
another
risky,
low
man.
paying
This
contract.
sport here, you know, they want those years. It's very rare to see someone come in with a Darrell Reeves type mentality and says, "I'm cool with just doing these 1 year deals. I'm cool with it." They want to get paid.
Well, Darrell
So
Revis was already paid, and when he was doing those 1 year Merc deals, he already had his money. Like if I'm Odell Beckham Jr., that's what I would be working on. Yeah, go ahead and spot me 10 mil. I'll play for you.
what? Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. I completely understand. But I mean, like, yeah, when you're at a certain point in your career and you have it down, like I could see doing those Merc deals. But I get you with these contracts, with these a lot of these younger players. But if I'm those younger players, I would like in Hollywood's case, I would be taking this as a trial run. Let me go ahead and play a year for you, see how I do, and then try and go for a 3 4 year contract after that, staying with Kansas City.
Yeah, but Kansas City's not going to have the money for him.
Mm, what does their cap space look like right now? Because I know Chris Jones just took a huge chunk up out of it,
You know, Chiefs only got
rightfully
six
so.
million
But
dollars right now.
yeah, they're definitely
They'll
gonna
have
be punting.
48 next year, according to over the cap, but uh,
They'll still have to be
I
resigning
don't
some
know.
people. Look, and Travis Kelce ain't gonna be on the books too much longer. We all know that one. And then they jump up to 130 million in 2026. So I mean, like, it all depends on how he
Yeah,
wants
but
to
that's
structure
still
that
people that still
contract.
need to get paid, though.
No, and I agree with you. I really do. But we'll just have to see how all that goes. But I mean, we all know if they'll make the money that they need, or they'll make room for what they did. Because look what they did with Chris Jones and to handle his contract.
I'm curious to see when they're going to give Patrick another deal. I know they don't have to for a while, but I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Patrick is still technically under contract till 2031.
yeah.
It's nuts, man. That's so
And
nuts.
and all they do from what I've seen is they just convert some of those other years into straight cash and just let him take off of that. But Patrick is one that understands what needs to be done as far as he understands the bigger game within the game of football. Yes, you want to sit there and get paid. You do, but you don't make all your money on the field. You need to make it off the field in order for you to win championships. Because what's more important, getting paid or your legacy? You'll constantly get paid off your legacy if you do it right.
Patrick's legacy is already cemented. It's done. If Patrick stopped playing today, man, people would give you a reason as to why he can make it to the Hall of Fame with the numbers he's got now, just
And
because of the trajectory that he was on.
I agree with you, but I mean, he's only because he's the only person he's playing against right now is literally Tom Brady.
Well,
That's
at
the
the rate that
stratosphere.
no one else is on the rate that he's on right now, as far as success, we could do
Okay,
stats all day. Like he's got people
right.
that's with him statistically, but they don't have the. He's got Super Bowl rings to go along with his stats.
And that's the big thing. I mean, like shit, him and Josh Allen have only played what three less games, and there's already a full season of stats between them, and that's everybody the one person everybody loves to compare Patrick to.
Just because they
Joe,
came in at the same time.
just because right. But then you look at the MVP that shall not be named
He
for
doesn't have the
I don't
passing
know.
stats. He doesn't have the passing stats.
Everybody tries to make it like, oh, Patrick and Lamar Jackson are two great players. Are they though?
He's won
Are
MVP
they?
twice. He's won it twice. I mean, we can debate, should he get it or not. He's won it twice. Lamar has two
Uh,
MVP trophies.
and Lamar is seeing the results of him going after that big cash grab because he lost a lot of important people. Patrick
And
Queen,
they still signed
offensive
Derrick
line.
Henry.
They still signed an age 30 Derrick Henry. Do I agree? Do I feel that Derrick Henry can still run? Absolutely, he can. He's got probably another 2 seasons left, 3 seasons left.
If they don't use him correctly, this will be all for nothing. All for nothing.
And I agree. And what do you think is going to happen when shit starts flying? Things get tough. Your back is against the wall. What do you always do? Revert back to what you know best. And what does Lamar know best?
Derrick
Pulling
Henry's
it
going to be on the
down
sideline
and making it happen. Yes, he will.
because he's not a third down back. That's why we didn't use him on third down. We're gonna camouflage you. You don't know what's gonna happen. If Tony Pollard's out there, you know if it's are we gonna hand him the ball or are we gonna throw it? When Tajay Spears is out there, they're gonna hand him the ball, they're gonna throw it.
Y'all got
We look. Our offense is gonna look the same no matter which running back is in.
Yeah, but I mean, but you've pointed that out before. Y'all got two of the same back.
Yeah, so it's gonna camouflage you. When Tajay's in, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Versus when Derek was in, it was like, oh, we know what's gonna happen here. They're running
Yeah,
the ball.
right, but you could also now at that. Well, your other telltale sign is going to be like, well, what does the receiver set look like now? Oh, hell, here we go.
If we come out with either running back and the receiver set is the same, then what?
We'll have to
You got to
see.
be prepared for everything.
Yeah,
Not to mention, Will Levis will tuck and run too.
he will. He will. He will.
I mean, he's not he's not going to blind you, but if it's 3rd and 3, you got to worry about him running.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at Kansas City. Any of Kansas City's other big time trades right now, or big time pickups. Really, their only big pickup was picking up Marquise Brown.
Yeah,
I still don't see what.
that's all you need. Their biggest thing was retaining what they wanted to retain. They wanted to retain Chris Jones.
Oh shit. McCall Hardman, they let him walk.
He was only there on 1 year. They traded for him.
It was a 1 year deal that he was on?
Yeah,
Because
he was with the Jets.
I know they released Valdez Scantling. They made that very painfully clear that that was going to happen.
Yeah, but why do I need McCall Hardman when I have Hollywood Brown? He can do the
Well,
same stuff but better.
I agree with you on that one. And Edwards-Helaire didn't get picked up.
Yeah, he's a free agent.
Yeah. I knew they were going to let that man walk. And Jarrett McKinnon somehow is still, well, I get it. He's 31.
He's probably
And they
going to come
did,
back for a low deal.
yeah. Well, I was right. Blake Bell. I didn't realize Blake Bell was 32, but yeah, he's out of there. Blake Bell, he moved on. So, man, that was huge. That was crazy. You ready to jump onto our draft board now?
Yep, our mock draft.
Our mock draft.
The reason for the episode.
Biggest one on here.
So for the people watching, I'm going to take the odds, and Derek's going to take the evens. And then he would be picking the Texans pick, but they don't have a first anymore. So, but let's go and jump right up into this. We're not even gonna mess around with this first pick because we all know who it's gonna be.
It
So
shouldn't be. It
but
shouldn't be.
we know who it's gonna be. I'm not even gonna try to make it seem like it's gonna be something else. It's gonna be Caleb. The draft starts at 2, so it starts with your
That's
pick, sir.
that is so stupid. All right,
It's gonna be Caleb.
Look, the Washington Commanders, they're going to go ahead and they're going to take Jaden Daniels, especially off of this pro day he just had. If what's his name? If they're so set on destroying themselves, that's what they're going to do. They're going to they're going to let the Chicago Bears destroy themselves and go take Jaden Daniels.
All right, so there's been a lot of speculation at 3 on with them losing out on Calvin Ridley that they may take a quarterback. I don't think Jared Mayo is going to be silly enough to do that because without them having a quarterback. Now they do have Jacoby Brissett that they picked up. He could be a nice bridge guy, but I think they're just going to do the smart thing here and just take Drake May because you got to get your quarterback before you do anything else.
All right, the Arizona Cardinals. Since you are telling me we are not allowed to do trades in this
No
mock
trades in
draft,
this one. We'll do
no
another one
trades
when
in
the
this.
draft gets closer.
I do see their need at taking a wide receiver and Marvin Harrison Jr. Um,
I think this
however,
could be Malik Labors too.
that's what I was about to say. That's exactly what I was about to go with because you got Kyler Murray out there running around. They're really going to love that 40 time he just dropped. He had an awesome pro day today. I know I'm high on LSU players right now, but I do think that they're going to take Malik Neighbors.
He also said that he was wide receiver one in his draft too. He mentioned that.
Yes, very confident. Although I do feel Marvin Harrison Jr. is a better wide receiver prospect, but I feel that the margin is very thin.
Yep. So now we have the Chargers on the clock. There had been rumors saying that I can't even think of his name right now. The coach, Jesus Christ,
John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh. Jesus, I don't know why I was struggling with that. John Harbaugh. He likes to show up his O line because he's a traditional guy. He likes to make sure his O line is good. However, losing two receivers in one off season, that just don't jive. They will be delighted at Marvin Harrison still being on the board, and they're going to take him at 5.
All right, we've got another quarterback hungry team in the Minnesota Vikings, seeing as they did let their top quarterback guy just kind of walk out the door there and go to Atlanta. But I understand too, Kirk Cousins was getting old. It is getting old. 35 is not old. I just turned
You think
35, but
Minnesota's on the clock? It's the Giants on the clock.
no, I'm seeing numbers. Oh, it is the Giants that are up there, and they can't really move. Sorry, the mock draft I'm looking at has Minnesota trading the
Yeah,
Giants to get
moving
up out
up.
of there.
Yeah, no, this
Yeah,
is the real draft right now.
the real draft right now. Well,
You
I
got the
honest,
Giants on the clock.
damn, I don't even know the Giants draft needs at this point in time. Let me scroll down a little bit. Let's see.
Quarterback,
Giants.
wide receiver, O line.
They're not going to take a quarterback right now. They won't because they have to deal with what's his name still on the roster. Like they've paid that man too much money to just sit 2 years straight. The one that I'm looking at, they take Rome
Dunze.
Dunze out of Washington for the wide receiver. However, I'm going to say they take Xavier Worthy at number 6. They go with that
You're
speedster out of
gonna say
Texas.
Xavier Worthy is going at 6.
Yeah, I will because look, the Giants are stupid, and that's
Do you
what
see
they will
how
do.
far down I gotta go to get to him? The
I
number
see.
68th rank. You finna get
I,
beat up.
I let it,
You
let them come after me. Look. I'm supposed to be the New York Giants. I'm the same team that picked Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. Okay, so I'm just playing the part. Okay, I'm just playing the part. Don't be
wow.
mad at me. I'm just playing the part.
Wow. I'm gonna save our viewers the explanation, and I'm just gonna take Joe Alt here because that's just what we're gonna do unless we move back. So it's on you again, sir. Atlanta.
ATL. So ATL pretty much is set at everything except for defense. So I see them going to the defensive side of the ball, and Hot
Come on,
Atlanta will be taking
edge.
Dallas Turner from Alabama. Will Anderson Jr.'s wrecking ball right there.
And wow, look how this draft has failed for Chicago. Chicago will be ecstatic to run up and take Roma Dunze at 9. Ecstatic to make that selection.
Oh man. Let's see. At 10, the New York Jets. I think they pick up Michael Penix Jr. at quarterback because they're going to learn their lesson from putting everything on uh, Aaron Rodgers. He's 45. We haven't heard anything about this ankle. He's talking about running for vice president. I think they go with Penix Jr. Uh, at quarterback just to kind of make sure everything is okay. So they have a good backup.
And this is definitely not going how I thought it was going to go for sure. Um, the Vikings taking JJ McCarthy. I have no words other than that, other than they're like they really love him. They're talking about moving up in the draft to get him. So JJ McCarthy would be the guy.
I still think that they would be better off picking up Michael Penix Jr. over JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy
They
has
love
Zach
JJ,
Wilson.
man.
They have
They
JJ.
love
He
him.
has Zach Wilson written all over him.
I don't disagree with you, but it's too much pointing to JJ with the Vikings.
I agree. I agree.
Broncos on the clock.
Broncos. They just lost. Oh wait, they do need it. They still need a quarterback, don't they?
They do. And wide receiver, too.
Yeah, they did. They still do need a wide receiver, don't they? Let
But they
me
still got
see.
Cortland. So who do you go with here?
Hmm.
Do you think they
Scroll
go
down.
quarterback? Bo Nix is there.
Actually, I see them taking. Yeah, Bo Nix. I see them taking Bo Nix. I see them taking Bo Nix. Hey, with Bo Nix,
Raiders need a quarterback. Jesus. So many
they don't need
quarterback
a
needing
quarter.
teams right now.
No, they got Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. I think they'll be fine. They
Not
talked
Aiden
about
O'Connell.
hey, he doubled down on him and said everything's going to run through him. So they're going through there. He had a rough year, but I mean he was just a rookie. So I think they feel confident with him, and I think they still roll with him.
So then I'm going to have them taken, since you believe that much in Aiden O'Connell, I'm going to have Aiden O'Connell getting protected by Olu Fashanu.
I don't believe that much in him. I'm just saying what I'm just reporting the news here. But let's see, the Saints indeed need a quarterback bad. They've been needing one since Homeby
They
left.
got
I
Derek
think
Carr. Their situation is better than the Raiders.
this is true. I think, however, they try and reignite that whole Jimmy Graham experience, and they get Brock Bowers at a steal at 14.
Man, you did me a favor because I was going to unfortunately mock him to the Colts. So, but I'll take it.
That's also
I
what I
will
was on.
take it.
That's why they
Yeah.
had to go.
So the Colts, since you just took Brock Bowers, they're going to go and try to shore up their secondary, and Quinyon Mitchell has been rising, so they're going to get Quinyon Mitchell at 15.
All right, let's see. They're gonna go offensive. No, they're gonna go linebacker here because no, Dan Quinn's no, wrong side. They're gonna go offensive line.
Dan Quinn
Offensive
is the head coach for the
for
Commanders.
the Commanders. That's why I was like, nope. Dan Quinn used to be the defensive coordinator for Seattle, so that's why
So
or
what
he
do you
used to
got
be on the
them
defensive.
doing?
Let's see. I have them going. They're picking a guard, offensive line. They pull up the offensive lineman real quick.
There's the centers and the guards.
Let's see. They're gonna go with Christian Mahogany.
Do you think Christian Mahogany is going to go here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get beat up. I can't wait for this to air. I got to make
Go
sure I edit
for
this
it.
video quickly.
Go for it. Go for it.
Jacksonville center edge DB. Uh, Jacksonville. How's that secondary looking? Because they ain't gonna go edge because they're still pretty good at edge. Their O line, there's no interior worth taking right here. I think they're gonna steal Terrion Arnold right here. They're gonna be happy that he's still there.
The
Bengals
Bengals
on
are
the
gonna
clock.
they're gonna go offensive line on this one. I'm going to go back to back offensive linemen on this one because they need to protect old Joe Burrow. They lost that right tackle, so they're gonna go for a tackle on this one.
So
Yeah, my
Fuaga or Fatanu.
Patag. No. They're
You
gonna
said
go with yeah, that one right there. Yeah, Oregon State.
Fuaga.
Yeah.
Rams. They need a lot. They're gonna go safe and they're gonna go Fatanu. It's gonna be another lineman going back. It's just at this point the value. Yeah, you don't want to go. You can't go quarterback here, so you're just gonna go left tackle.
All right.
Steelers.
they say the Steelers need a quarterback. I think they're pretty much set. I think the Steelers are going to go wide receiver here on this one.
Some good
So
names there too.
yeah, and I think they go Brian Thompson Jr.
It's a good pick. That'd be a steal. All right. So I think that the Dolphins are going to go with Murphy Jr. to replace what they lost in Wilkinson. That's what I think is going to happen. He comes in and he can fill the void for them immediately.
Uh, So the Eagles needed a defensive back in the worst way to close out the season. So I think they're going to go ahead and they're going to go with Arnold, cornerback in Alabama.
Terrion Arnold's already been selected, sir.
Oh, you already selected them. They're going to go Kool-Aid
Yes,
McKinstry.
sir.
They're going with Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Look, you're just trying to put a Bama guy with them.
Hey, man, that's just what I do.
Vikings, they need a lot. They need a lot. Um, with what's left and their needs, they took a quarterback earlier. They don't need receiver. There's no tight end worth taking here. They could go D line, could go DB. I'm gonna have them go Nate Wiggins. Yeah,
All right.
I
Dallas
feel good about
Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys need a quarterback.
that one. They don't need no quarterback, man. They still got Trey Lance in the side, man. They fine.
Oh man, no, I'm going with Dallas Cowboys. They are gonna go. They just lost Lathan Vander Esch going through there, so I feel that they're gonna go linebacker in the draft, and I think they're gonna go with Peyton Wilson out of North Carolina State.
Green Bay. Definitely not taking a defensive line for these guys. They were going crazy with their defensive linemen, man. But they're going to be happy to and run up to the podium and take J.C. Latham. And he
J.C.
fell
Lake.
this far.
Let's see. And we're going to Tampa Bay. Let's see. Tampa Bay is gonna go cornerback. So we're going back to our CBs, and they're gonna take Cooper DeJean.
Arizona. What did Arizona get earlier? I forgot. What did we take early in the draft, Arizona?
They picked up. I do believe I had them pick up a wide receiver. No,
Yes, you
they
had
didn't.
them take Malik Neighbors. It was Neighbors. Okay.
Yes, neighbors.
So they get Neighbors, and then now after they get Malik Neighbors, they're gonna get their new big guy in the middle, Jackson Powers Johnson.
All right. So I got the Buffalo Bills. Let's see. Do we still have a Donnie Mitchell at wide receiver? Because they're gonna
I
have to
knew you were
replace
going
Gabe
wide. Yep.
Davis.
Yep. I knew you were going out the receiver. That's why I already clicked it. Yep. Donnie
Yep.
Mitchell.
Yep.
Ooh, this is a fun team right here. The
The
Lions.
Lions. They're
Man,
pretty
they
much.
can do so much. Their team is solid. I'm gonna go ahead and give them this. You can take a calculated risk at this pick, and I'm gonna take Latu, who would have been way higher if he didn't have injury concerns. But his upside is high enough to where they can take him here. I know people will probably beat me up and say I should take Jared Verse here, but I'm gonna go Latu.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Uh, the Ravens. Hmm.
They're saying their biggest need is wide receiver. I don't know about that.
Really? I don't know about that one. I think they did pretty good with the receivers that they had this past season. They just need a chance to grow a little bit. They obviously already took care of the running back position with re-signing Lamar Jackson last year. Um, they're pretty set at quarterback with having Lamar Jackson this year. Tied in with both Likely and what's his name out of Oklahoma. Um,
Mark
what's their
Andrews.
Mark Andrews. So they're set there. Uh, how about they go chop? They go edge with Chop Robinson.
He should be right here somewhere. No, there he goes. Uh, it says they need OL and CB, but they're going to be like, I don't understand how Newton is still on the board. You know how much they love their defensive line, and they're just going to take Newton just because he's available.
Yeah, they could also look for a good coin toss as well too.
Shots.
Uh, no, the 49ers played a hell of a game. That was actually one of the more entertaining Super Bowls that I've watched in a long time. From the awesome halftime show with Ursher out there hitting the 8701 and Confessions tour again, which I hadn't seen since 2004.
Usher's my guy.
Let's see, who else do we have here? We have the Kansas City Chiefs. They say they need, I mean, we all know they need a wide receiver.
I mean, if you want to go wide receiver, I mean, they're still, I mean, it's
See, but
okay.
right, is Jordan Morgan still on our board?
So that's a
No,
wide
no,
receiver, or
no. Because if we're looking at wide receiver, I'm going Lad McConkey, and the other one, and if I'm looking offensive tackle, I'm looking at Jordan Morgan. So those are the two that I'm kind of,
hey, he's still here.
yeah, out of Arizona. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at between the two. I don't know which. I think they feel pretty good with their signing of Hollywood, but I don't know. I think they give in to their need for good pass catchers because I mean, let's face it, like they can they can make it work later picking up these tackles. So I think they go Lad McConkey with pick number 32 and they take him first over they take him in the first round.
He says, "Stay in your seat," and there it is. The first annual mock draft.
Oh yeah, and we will have this up when we do our live stream of the draft on Rumble.
I will
We
tell
will
y'all right now, it's going to be completely wrong because he got off his rocker at 6, so it's going to be completely
Hey,
wrong. Xavier Worthy will absolutely not be the third receiver taken in the draft.
100% agree with you. However, like I said, I had to shove my head so far up my ass to get into that New York Giants state of mind, and that's why I went with that crazy pick, and I will stand by it. That's where I feel I will get my support. I had to
Clearly,
be
ladies
a
and
New York
gentlemen,
Giant.
the odd numbers are more realistic than the even ones. So
Ah,
we
the
will
even
we'll
ones.
see how this goes.
Don't get me wrong, I had some reaches. I just threw a name. There's a couple where I just threw names up there just to kind of start the conversation because, the whole thing is I just want to kind of see where everybody else is at, kind of break off the beaten path. But there are some picks up there that I do feel, yes, those are good spots and where they go.
Look at 6. Look at 10.
Who do I have at 10? Michael Penix
Look
Jr.
at
No,
look at
no,
16.
10 is not bad. 10 I will fight you on 10 on this one because I do see them taking
That's a
Penix Jr.
reach. That's a
It's
reach.
not a reach.
They can move back and get Penix.
They can right, but at the same time, I see them taking Penix just so they can secure that backup for Aaron Rodgers because they have no clue what the hell that man's going to do. Is he going to get hurt? Is he going to go be a vice president? Is he going to wake up and tell the wrong person to go F themselves? Who knows?
They still
So
got Zach on the roster too. I know that sounds silly, but they still got him on the roster.
we all know they are done with Zach Wilson. We all know it. We
I,
all
I
know
I I would love to show this board to Vegas and be like, what are the odds that you have three straight quarterbacks taken, and then at 10, three straight quarterbacks taken again?
it. That would be some crazy shit. I will give you that one. But those are all quarterback hungry teams.
And then we had how many tackles go?
Not
This draft
enough.
so deep at tackle five. Five tackles went.
Offensive line is a huge one though. I mean, hell, looking at some of these look at some of these, they don't have Bo Nix going until pick 44 to the Raiders.
And then Amarius Mims is another tackle that's available that didn't even go in our first round draft.
And that's who the Dallas Cowboys are projected to grab. Go offensive tackle because
It's
they did
really
lose quite a
good.
bit.
It's so good at tackle. That's why I was cool with when we do our trades. I'm want to mock Minnesota coming up to 7 and giving us 11 and 23. And I'd be cool with us doing that because it's so deep. I mean, yes, it might not be another Joe Alt, but we can get Olu Fashanu at 11 and
Yeah.
be just as be just as good. And then at 23, I don't even know what we would do at 23 anymore. I don't even know. Maybe go safety if we can't pull in, but that's a little rich to go safety at 23. I don't even know what we would do. Maybe go
Mm,
another wide receiver if we don't believe in Traylon Burke. I don't know.
I don't see y'all going receiver. I would believe in Traylon Burke being wide receiver 3 in that one.
Maybe we go edge at
I,
23. I don't
well,
know. That's something we need.
because here's the other thing, and I know we've seen it in drafts before. Not a single running back was picked.
And there's not going to be a running back taken in the first. It's not. There's none worth it.
I mean, but to be honest with you, a lot of some of these running backs, I mean, they're top heavy in running backs this year.
Yeah, this is the year. If you need a receiver, you get it this year. If you need a lineman, you get it this year. That's the two deepest positions, I think. Corners
Uh,
probably corners probably not far behind.
Lion defensive players is pretty deep too. Corner or edge rushers too, or isn't too bad in one.
But it wasn't even that many edge rushers we did just right now.
Hmm. Not a lot of
Like
them
I'm
were.
saying, it's O line, wide receiver, cornerback. It's probably them three. Where you can get quality later on in the second, like day two, you can get some quality in day two.
Well, even looking at the quarterbacks coming in there. I mean, there's a lot of good day two quarterbacks going there. Like, yeah, you have your Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix Jr., and I refuse to acknowledge JJ McCarthy as being a first round talent. But above your top four, you've got all these other guys that you could pick up day two and develop them into quality ones. So I don't feel JJ McCarthy isn't a good NFL quarterback. I just think he needs to sit.
Well, if he
I just
goes to
think he needs.
Minnesota, he ain't gonna be sitting. He's gonna get in immediately.
He
Immediately.
goes to Minnesota. That's gonna be bad.
From necessity. They're gonna have to play him.
Yeah, but I don't see him having a good time in Minnesota. I really don't. I hope that young man does not go to Minnesota.
Well, I've been seeing some speculation too that but the thing is, it's always going to be the JJ McCarthy, and this is going to work out well for what I'm going to say. But I saw a trade, and again, this is all speculation. That I was talking to it earlier with a friend of mine. That Chargers move up. I mean, they move up to the Chargers spot, and to get that Chargers pick, they get Jettas. But they also give up it was either a future second or a current second, something like that. And then that sends Jettas to the Chargers. And then
That would
that would give Minnesota three first round picks.
I could see that. I could see that because like so right now what I have right now from what I'm looking at from Tankathon, who I was pulling some of my information from. They're saying that the Vikings stay put at 11 and they take Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo, And then at 23, they turn around and pick up Michael Penix Jr. That's what they have them going and doing.
We'll see. I don't really like that either for him, but we'll see.
I mean, like that Minnesota spot. Like, I don't like it for a young quarterback going in there because the more and more people talk about it and harp on it, giving it those guys a chance to kind of sit and adjust to the speed because that NFL, the jump from college to the NFL is a lot harder to do than going from uh, small school, small hometown football, high school football to D1 college football. Like the game speed is just that much. It's quick. It's that much quicker. Like you've watched an NFL game before, and I'm sure you've seen a college game. It's like watching the. It's like watching the speed. It's like watching at half speed. Then if you go back and watch football, it seems like everybody's moving with center blocks on their feet. After you sit there and you see what that NFL speed looks like, it's ridiculous. I can only imagine what it's like being under the gun, having to make those decisions that quick.
Yeah, but some people they make it. I mean, look at CJ. CJ made the adjustment quick, and we just
He's
saw a
still.
really good rookie campaign from him.
You're talking about an outlier, though.
We've seen success stories. Dak Prescott had a really good rookie year when he played, but it was out of necessity. They didn't play. No, you can't do that. Dak had a really good rookie year. You got to go look at the numbers, sir. He had a
He
really good
did.
rookie
He did, but he also had Zeke, who was having one hell of a year as well too.
year. And
Dallas is known for their
Roethlisberger
off.
had a good rookie year.
He came in halfway in the season
He
because
still had a
Maddox
good
went down.
rookie year.
So did Joe. So did Tom Brady when he had to jump
So
and
we,
step into the thing.
so
But
we've seen the one of y'all on screen. We see every now and again it does happen. So
it does. But you got to look at. But look at. Well, no, Tom Brady sat for a year. So Tom Brady sat behind Drew Bledsoe. Aaron Rodgers sits behind Brett Favre. Patrick sits behind Alex Smith. Getting that chance to kind of sit back and see how this stuff works out. They tend to have greater success rather than being thrown in. Even hell, even Steve Young needed to sit behind Joe Montana.
Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre.
Yeah,
Hey, tomato, tomato, tomato. I mean,
Jordan Love.
if
Look at
you
Jordan
put in
Love
there,
getting
you
a
got a
chance to sit,
ball. Yeah, he sat down his whole rookie damn contract.
and now look at him.
Yeah.
I'm
So I
not.
mean, but
He's not. And but I think a lot of these guys, I really do think a lot of these quarterbacks would do really, really well, especially Caleb, who's afraid to step into the pocket and take a shot to the mouth in order to hit receivers. I've watched the game film on him, and I've seen him miss wide open downfield passes because there's a high chance he's about to get his head taken off if he steps in there to make it. Now, again, I understand some plays just aren't worth it, but at the same time, like in the NFL, though, you stepping up and getting hit in the mouth is going to happen more often than not.
yeah, some of these franchises they don't have the luxury to do it though. So they gotta. I need you to come in and play right away. This is what we
The
drafted you for.
the Bears had that. The Bears had that.
They wanted to move on. You go if you take a quarterback first overall, you want to play him.
I s-
You want to
they
play him.
did
It's
they
not
did
very
just
often you see a
but
quarterback get taken first overall and they sit.
they did Justin Fields so wrong though. That's the big thing. Like they never gave him a shot. I think him going to Pittsburgh and actually getting a chance to sit and take a breather and really be able to dive into a playbook and take a look at. I think that's going to be the best thing for him, and I really hope
He'll
he
be
takes
starting
full
before the
advantage of it.
season ends.
You really think so? You think Russ is going to be out that quick? He can't play more
Russell in
than
the
51.
future,
He can't play more than 51% of the snaps.
and then it goes up to a fourth. Ooh, an early day three pick. If they're in a situation where they're winning a few games and they feel Justin's going to give them the opportunity to make the playoffs, because remember we're talking about Mike Tomlin here,
Yeah,
Mister. I've never had a season below 500. So if they're close enough to where they can still keep that, and they feel that they increase with Justin, Justin's going to play.
yeah. But I don't know. I think I really hope the best for Fields, man, because there was too many times where he was looking good, especially at the end of the last two seasons back to back when they just let that boy alone and get out there and play his game.
We have to see what happens, man. He chose that place for a reason because he sees a very clear way that he can start. So
I agree.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man. I think it's a pretty good landing spot for him.
I agree. I
They're
agree.
going to develop him a lot better than Chicago did.
Oh, definitely. But all right, man. Well, we need to go ahead and we need to sign off here. We will reconvene next Wednesday. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow, um, give us the rumbles, I guess on Rumble. We will be doing a live stream April 25th on Rumble. So if y'all just would like to peruse on over there and get set up, that'd be great. We'd love to have you. We'll take questions. I'll answer why I picked Xavier Worthy at number 6. I'd love to hear y'all's different takes. I'd love to hear how dumb that is, but
You're
I
going to have
do
a
want to
lot of
say
takes.
again, I do want to again stress anybody who's a New York Giants fans, you know that would be some shit the Giants would do. You know there would be some crazy ass pick that they would do to make that happen. It may not be Xavier Worthy, but they will make a crazy pick that leaves everybody going like, what the hell?
Xavier Worthy is 6.
Think
That's
about it. Think about it.
crazy.
They picked Daniel Jones at 6 with everything else that they had left on the board, with all the other needs that they had. Daniel Jones, an easy day 2 quarterback. Clearly, he's showing that now at 6. The last
Xavier
time.
Worthy is
Speed.
closer to John Ross than he is to a prime Deshaun Jackson,
I
which is a
feel
bust.
John Ross.
He's
I
closer
was.
to a bust than he is to being serviceable.
I feel that John Ross got to the wrong system, but he ran himself into that position. So
Xavier
we'll
Worthy
have
just
to.
did what John Ross did. He broke the record.
That's the reason why.
Xavier Worthy, before we leave, should not be a first round pick.
We hope the best for his future career.
But he shouldn't be a first round pick.
I agree.
Speed, it can't be just fast. You got to do other
Got
stuff.
it.
There's no way he goes ahead of Rome Odunze for sure. I don't see him going ahead of Brian Thomas, right? Brian Thomas from LSU. I don't see him going ahead of Adonai Mitchell. Now we get into that Keon Coleman area. Okay, I can see them. Keon Coleman's a better receiver.
Right.
He's nowhere near as fast.
But again, I agree with him not being at that pick. Again, I made that pick, that guess based off of the shenanigans that the New York Giants are known for doing on draft day. Like, of course, they
Okay.
hit with Thibodeau, but come on,
Okay,
they picked
I'm
Daniel
going down the
Jones.
rabbit hole again. You were trying to sign off. That's my fault. My fault. My
No,
fault.
you good. You good. Like, subscribe, follow, comment. Please comment. I'd love to hear the comments on this one. Please, for the love of God, comment.
Please comment on those. Please comment. Please.